streaming.
It's like you've seen it, they're like the size of copies.
Yeah, including the freaking
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
I don't actually know if we made that one. Or I might just not looking for it.
Why are we messaging through Slack with this?
You don't often name them, but I thought like the one from last year kind of looks like a dinosaur face.
Yeah.
Just because
Okay.
of how his arm was, and it just kind of looked like this.
All right, students, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying your either first or second or whatever it is week of class, because it's weird because we started early, right? Hi. We're once again joined by Claire today, so yay. So I was just going to keep teaching, because I think that's what we're doing. Everyone loves learning, right? Can I get a whoop whoop for learning? Oh, okay. Yeah, that was good. That felt like you really felt it there, so I appreciate that. Anyways, my recollection of where we left off is that we had been doing some Neovim stuff. You'd all gotten either Vim working on Mac for the most part or Neovim working on Windows. I don't remember what we did on Chrome, something that worked. And it was time to get to writing some scripts. So we'd gotten pretty good at writing text, but we'd not necessarily gotten good at writing text that programs run yet, so I was going to follow through that example now. The place I am on the web page is I am under Neovim, and then I am under the scripting place. So that makes, do you all know how to find that, or do I need to walk through it? I'm going to walk through it just to make sure. Okay. Calvin Willamette courses. First link, Thinking Machines. Scroll down, Neovim, scripting. And then I like doing the thing where I have two windows open at the same time, so I'm going to hold down the, for me, Windows key. I think on Mac it might be Command key, and then do the left arrow. Ooh, that made it a very odd size. Maybe I can, oh, that's too big. My computer is getting owned right now. There we go, that's fine. Okay. So this is scripting, right there. Okay. So let's just follow through this guide and narrate what we're doing as we're going through the process. I do think there is one change from last time that I probably should have made, but I'm still not sure about, which is that I'm suggesting you should use Nvim on Mac, and I think we decided we were going to use Vim on Mac. Doesn't make a difference. Either put the N there or not, and you can either leave the M off the end as well. So I think VI also works. So hopefully one of those things work. We're getting into modal text editing, and so we're going to do an example of that. I don't think I currently have any, well, maybe I do. There's actually a lot of nonsense in here. What do we think table.csv is? Oh, because I was teaching other classes with this computer. That's where all that stuff is from. Okay. I think I was doing data science, which, look out for that. I'm going to get rid of some files. Remove. Is that everything? I'm going to remove the HTML. Okay. So I'm getting rid of everything that I was using for other classes. Okay. I'm going to introduce one term. Sometimes you want to have a clear, fresh, brand new terminal and you don't want to reopen it. You can just type clear and it'll take you back. Okay. Let's open, I'm going to open Nvim. I'm going to scroll down and see what the next thing I'm supposed to do. All right. Like Python and Neovim, there are also terminal commands. What are some of those? Well, we have Python or Python 3. I can exit Python or Python 3. I can enter Neovim, and I can escape :X to get out of Neovim. But there's other things, and I just showed some of them to you as well. I can type ls, which stands for list, which is going to show me the files and folders in the place where I'm currently living. So for example, on my computer I have a desktop, which many of you have, but I have some other things I made myself which you can usually tell when they're lowercase. I have something called temp, which is probably temporary files. I have something called Rust for my Rust class. I have something called old for classes I don't teach anymore, and so on. So this is the organization scheme I use. What I have been told is that the kids these days, and that's not you anymore because you're now the adults these days, but you were the kids these days not that long ago, right? The kids these days didn't grow up with filing cabinets, right? So you don't know how files work. So apparently, people who are old like me are accustomed to putting a bunch of papers inside a folder and then maybe putting that folder inside another folder, and then that's how you organize things. And that is the metaphor that computing is based off of. But I don't think that's taught to humans anymore. And the reason I think that is because I looked at someone's screen at a class I was teaching last night, and every single file they'd used for the past 3 years they'd had their computer was all in the downloads folder, and none of the names made sense. So I am pointing out to you that I have an organizational scheme for my files, and when I came into class and I had files I wasn't using anymore, I cleaned them up before doing anything else. I could have also saved them somewhere else. That's an unrelated anecdote, but I wanted to point that out. And that's a motivating example we can use for some of the things we do at the shell. So I can see if I have cleaned up things using the ls command. Now, I was supposed to have a pw.py file, but I got rid of that, so I'm going to make it again. I'm going to nvim pw.py. You might have this on your computer, but let's step through it. I think I created a function. I'm going to press I to go into insert mode. I created a function using def. I called it piecewise. I took the piecewise value of x, like if I took f of x. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think maybe if x was less than 4, 9 times x squared minus 5. And I have to return that. Then if it was 4 to x to 8, this was just 9. And then if x was greater than 8, was it 11 minus x? It was 2 minus x. You all should have this file on your computer. You shouldn't be looking at me like I'm just trying to remember.
I think it was +5, not -5.
You think +5?
That's what I have now.
I believe you. Is it otherwise correct?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so this is pw.py. Now, when I type ls, I get a lot of stuff. There's many things here, and I told you a story about some of these things. Sometimes you just want to see if you have one of them. So you can just list to see if you have pw.py, which I do, and if there was something that was not there, it would not show up. So this is a way to tell if I successfully saved my files. So ls is useful for that reason. Has everyone been able to successfully use this on Windows? Is ls working? I think you see different things on Windows. Try dir if ls doesn't work.
Yeah, I think that would work.
dir works? Okay.
I think, I'm not.
I'm going to come look at your computer, because
I'm pretty sure, because it does say, just not what that, it doesn't look like.
But you're in
that,
command on that.
I'm gonna be super proud.
Oh.
I thought I had one, but I can't open it in files, so I might as well have nothing.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll deal with that later. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
PowerShell.
Not that.
Sophia.
Which name it's colon Q. How do you want to say it? Oh, X. And then the front line.
Oh, hold on.
Okay, return.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, so from now on I should do it.
All right. I think we've all successfully listed files. Oh, gee, okay. Summon me if you need me over there. I'm going to keep going. Okay. If you not have a pw.py file, stop here until you have one. This is what mine looked like on Windows. There was more stuff. This is what I think it will look like on Mac. And then I showed you what it looked like for me, which is basically the same. I just cut out this stuff before the $sign. That's my name. That's my computer. That's my current folder. That's all of that is. Okay? So let's do some py files. There are two common ways to use .py files, which are Python files, files that contain code. I believe the most common is via import. So in order to do that, I'm going to begin at the command line, and I'm going to start Python. That I is a typo. On Windows, I can type Python, and on Mac OS, I can type Python 3. Press enter. I'm going to type Python 3. I'm going to press enter. Okay. Well, I have an old version of Python. Do you all have 3.13.7?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully there's no differences. I don't think there is. Oh, and somehow I made these slides on a computer that had 3.12.5. Okay, anyways. So, one way to tell you're in Python, and not in sort of the classic terminal, is there's the three greater than signs. What this means is that if I type ls here, it does not work. If I type neovim here, it does not work. If I type vim here, it does not work. And if I type Python 3 here, it does not work. Python accepts different commands than the terminal. It is a different mode for the terminal. And we're accustomed to what we can do in Python, such as performing addition, which is allowed. Okay? So, let's begin with that, and we are now going to use import. Import is a lot like the other keywords we've seen. We've seen the keyword def. We've seen the keyword if. Import is a special word in Python that we follow by a space, and then we write something else there. The thing we write after the word import is the name of some code. We have now on our computers created some code called pw, which we saved in a Python file pw. Importantly, that pw would be visible to us if we typed ls from wherever we're running Python. So it has to be in the same place on the computer. But since I have those things, I can just type import pw. I do not type the .py. It must be named .py. And I will be able to get the piecewise function into my current running version of Python. So when I type this, I'm not going to see anything, but something will fundamentally change. And what changed is now there's something called pw. It's called a module. Modules is how Python refers to Python files. Basically, this means we just have a new variable, but it's a variable of a different type, for example. So when we have x equals 1, right, x just contains the value 1. The variable pw contains a module, which is other code. And you'll see it shows up here. It showed up this way for me on Windows, and it showed up this way for me on Linux or Mac, most likely. So the from will probably look different on different computers depending on where you saved your file. Was everyone able to import pw?
Not quite.
Do you have a pw.py file? That is why you did not import it, because that's not before we included this, we should all have a pw.py file to make sure we can import one. So that's the dependency. You want to just make one quick note?
This one.
Okay. How would you get the .py file? Okay.
Open ended.
Yes, I'm gonna let's go through an example of what happens if we don't have pw, and actually I'm just gonna make a different function called f. I'm going to exit Python. I'm going to verify that I have pw.py. Now, it could be the case I didn't have pw.py. For example, I could be in Python, and I try and import f, and there's no such module called f. So I'm going to exit Python, and I'm going to nvim f.py. I'm going to define a function, f. I'm just going to call it function. And it's going to take an x value, and it is going to return x times x. Are you doing okay on this?
Shoot.
At nvim.py, yeah.
So I did nvim f.py. And then I'm going to define a function in this file, such as def function of x, and I'm going to return x times x. Okay, got that? I'm going to press escape. I'm going to press colon and x, and that is going to save and exit. Now, before I open Python again, I'm going to check that I have a file called f.py with ls. So I'm going to do ls f.py, and it will list the file. I do not have a file called z.py, so I will get an error if I try and list that. Are you good on all this? Okay. Now I'm going to restart Python, and I'm going to import f. And I will not see any error message. Because there was not a z or anything else, I cannot import a module that I have not written. So that is what import is doing, and I can take a look at f, and then I can also import pw, and I can take a look at pw. So, how can we use pw? Let's import a function. To use the function that is inside of the pw module, I have to refer to the function by its name after referring to the module by its name. So this is sort of the same as like a street address where you have a number and then a street name. So I'm going to say pw, which is the module that contains piecewise, and I'm going to write piecewise, and I'm going to take the piecewise value of, I think I did 2 one time or something. That seems like a really large number. Is that right? Maybe that's right. Oh, I think 4 was 9. That sounds right. And so this is how I can use my piecewise function. Now, it might be difficult to check and remember if my piecewise function is correct, but I also wrote f, which is relatively easy to check. That's just the squaring function. So I'm going to import f, and I'm going to say f.function of 5, and I expect this to be 25. I expect it to be 25 of -5 as well, and I expect it to be 16 of 4. So this is how I can write and use functions. Oh yeah, here's my check. Piecewise of 4 is supposed to be 9. Piecewise of 4 is supposed to be 9. Now, it is not always the case that I want to type out f.function or pw.piecewise. That can be annoying, and there's 2 ways to change this. Maybe I just want to name my function g, so I can use g as a name. I can use single equals assignment to assign the name g to store the function pw.piecewise. And then from there, I can take g of 2 or g of -1 and get the same values I would get from the piecewise function. I can create another function h, which equals f.function. Then I can take h of 7 and get 49. So you can always change the names of these once you have them. Be careful about changing the names to things that are already taken. So for example, if I say f equals f.function, that means f is no longer a module now. It is only the function, so that's the only way I can use it, and I will get 64. So be a little cautious about that. You can use single equals assignment to change the names of these functions. This is not necessarily the preferred way to do things. The most common way to use a function from a file is not by just importing the file, but by importing a specific function from the file directly into Python, which I'm going to show you as well now. So I can say from pw import piecewise. This will define piecewise directly as a function, and I'll be able to use piecewise over 11 to get -9. Now, to demonstrate this more completely, I already imported piecewise, so that seems a little bit silly. So I'm going to go ahead and exit this, and I'm going to create a new Python window. In this new window, if I type piecewise, I don't have anything there initially, and I don't have anything for pw either. But if I from pw import piecewise, I do have the function piecewise, and I do not have the module pw. So this is a way to get one function from a file if you have multiple functions in your file. And from there, I can say piecewise of 11 and get -9. I do want to show you a few ways to get out of Python, and I'm going to demonstrate them all for you because I think frequently you'll be writing in Python and you realize you want to go check a file. This is a common experience I have, so I want to show you how I do this. I have demonstrated exit, which you can't just type exit. You have to denote that it is a command with the parentheses to exit. You can also use quit, which does the exact same thing. You can also use Control-Z, which is Command Z on Mac. And I think you can also do Control D. So Control D or Control Z, quit or exit, will all get you out of the Python window without breaking your computer, right? You can always, of course, close this terminal window. Nothing's preventing you from doing that. And it is completely reasonable to have two terminal windows open next to each other and be editing one and running code in the other one. But I want to show you how to get in and out of Python. So Python 3, exit. And then I can open nvim f.py again and change. So I can change this directly to being, I call this supernation, raising a number to the power of itself. And you can do that as well.
Command D and something else.
Command D. D as in dog.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
This. I don't know.
That's probably fine, just don't use it. I don't know what it's supposed to do. The only reason I said Command D is actually here. I'll show you why I said that.
There's like 3 points.
It told me to use Control D. And so if your Mac tells you to do something else, just do whatever it says.
Okay.
But yeah, my preferred is to use exit. I always use exit. Exit or Control Z. And I think, does Command Z work? Did you check it?
Control Z work.
Control Z work. Oh, Control Z on Mac?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Control.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, that worked.
Okay. This is, as I understand it, the process I just went through. I opened Neovim. I wrote some code. I saved the code as a file. You can also do nvim some file and then skip this step. I exited. I opened Python. From the file, I imported a function. Then I was able to run the function over X, and then I was able to exit. So this is the process I would iterate through to create my single tax function that we've been working on as our motivating example for progressive income tax. There's another way to do this without having to open and close Python all the time, and so I want to show that to you as well. So I'm going to introduce terminal hello world. I'm going to create a new file called hi.py. I think we've already seen the hi.py file. But I'm going to step through that process. So let's begin with hello terminal. It is really hard for me to control the vertical spacing on this side of the screen, and I don't know why. Okay, I'm going to clear my terminal. And I'm going to make a new file called hi.py. I'm going to make this using the nvim command followed by the file name hi.py. So I'm going to type nvim space hi.py, and I'm going to press enter. Within my hi.py file, I'm going to enter insert mode by pressing I, and then I'm going to type print hello, open quote, hello, comma, space, terminal, exclamation point, close quote, close paren. To save and exit this, I'm going to press the escape key on my keyboard. I'm going to press colon, and I'm going to press X. Then I will press enter, and that will save and exit. I don't have it in the slides, but I think I'm going to verify that this exists by typing ls hi.py. And I do, in fact, have hi.py.
Could you do that again from after the hello terminal?
Yes, of course. So I'm just going to remove hi.py. We'll do the whole process. I'm going to clear my terminal, nvim hi.py, create a new file given a certain name. I'm going to press I to enter insert mode, print, open paren, open quote, hello, terminal. You can put any text you want. Close quote, close paren, escape to get out of insert mode. And I'm going to go back and forth a little bit here. I can press I to enter insert mode. I'm in insert mode. That means I can type. I'm going to press escape to get out of insert mode. That means if I type like, I think E doesn't work, so nothing's happening, right? Once I am out of insert mode, I'm in command mode, so I can give the command to save and quit, which is X. And that's going to give me hi.py. You don't see anything, but you can check that it's there by listing it. Okay? Now, previously, I've used Python by running the Python program and then typing things into Python directly. But that is not the only way to run Python. I can also take Python, or in my case, Python 3, and I can give it the name of a file, and it will run all of the commands in the file. So I can run Python 3, hi.py, and it will print hello terminal. If you can't do this, summon me. I feel like I should walk around and make sure that everyone's okay on this. How's everyone doing today? It's so dark in here. Why is it so dark?
Yeah. Sit down. Sit down.
Tested this one?
I don't think so. Here was UI files. Then
Reply to that. Is that what it is?
oh, we're on import.
On Vim?
Wait, no, we're not. Oh, we're copy.
Import. Hi.py says. Roles on file.
Right. Hello, terminal.
It's just fine.
Okay.
And that's
How
stuff.
you told it to say?
Print, and then you have to quote. Print C and then start
Any
quote.
text. So put it in the parentheses.
Yeah, and then hello terminal quotations.
Right, are you happy?
Huh?
Are you happy?
Happy. Sure. How do I put the name?
Right. I'm mostly just wishing I didn't
Like,
know.
because when I put Vim, I didn't put the file name, so how do we do it in Vim?
Mr. in Vim. Escape, exit, insert mode. Colon, decimal. Did you colon W space the name of the file, so I did hi.py.
A super basic.
You had like this.
Probably change your hi.py.
Have you had an air provider?
No, I mean,
My roommate has one. And it's like an hour and a half.
yeah.
I'm gonna do a demonstration.
I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Okay.
This kind of toy that-
We got a great question, which is what happens if I start Neovim without giving it the name of a file? So if you just do this. So this file has no name, right? Oh, and I think you're on Mac, so I'm going to use Vim instead. So this file has no name. So maybe I put something in here. It's like, I think we all remember Galadriel saying to Frodo, "You are nameless." No, it had to be to Sauron, probably in Hobbit Battle of Five Armies. I don't know, right? Fantasy literature, right? So we'll say, "You are nameless," which I think was meant to be offensive, but I don't really know, so I don't think I'm being mean to anyone. Okay, to the Witch King. Ah, the Witch King of Angmar, classic. Who doesn't have a name, that's why we refer to them as the Witch King of Angmar, right? Okay, so I put in some text. I'm going to now press escape. And I'm not going to use the X command because this file doesn't have a name. I'm going to do :W, and I'm going to save this as has a name. I'm going to use underscores instead of spaces, .py. When I do that, I will now be able to have saved this file as a name, and now I can save and exit, and I can see that has a name exists on my computer. Do you want me to do that again? Did you catch that?
I got it.
Okay, good job. I'm going to get rid of has a name. Well, no, I'm not. I'm going to run it. You are nameless. Ooh, that does sting a little bit when it says it to me. I'm going to get rid of that. Clear.
So RM is removed. That from
Yes.
the Python.
That's from the shell command terminal. We have... We're covering that next week, but it's useful to have it now. Okay. All right. So what happened here? Basically, Python runs code written in the file as if it were entered at the prompts. It's then going to print the expected values, but this means you can run code more than once without typing the code more than once. This is kind of cool. So I can say python3 hi.py. I can run that. I can press the up arrow, and then I can press enter, and it can run again without having to type everything. This is quite nice if you spent a lot of time typing code into the terminal, right? So, oops, okay. Let's do a different example. I am now going to edit the piecewise.py file, and I'm going to change it so that it prints out piecewise values. I can run the piecewise.py file as if it is a script, but it doesn't really do anything because there's no code in that file that's going to print anything out, so I don't see anything. It's just defining a function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit my pw.py file, and I'm going to introduce the first idea of a Vim motion. It might be the case you've been navigating around your Vim window a lot with the arrow keys, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's how I started using Vim. But we can move much faster than one character at a time with special motions, and I'm going to introduce the first one, which is G. Just go to the end or the beginning of something. I'm going to hold down Shift and press G, and it's going to take me to the last line of the file. I could enter insert mode here, or I can create a new line and enter insert mode at the same time by pressing O. And that will give me a new line and put me in insert mode, which is closer to what I want to be doing.
I'm sorry, you said hold down Shift and press G?
Mm-hmm.
It's not there.
Were you in command mode? Oh, just when you enter it, you don't press escape first, you just do Shift G. I'll demonstrate. I'm going to end Vim pw.py. Haven't pressed anything yet. Shift G. Press O to get a new line and a new command. I'm going to enter one of the loops we used in the prior lecture, just to print out all of these. And so I'm going to say, for element in the collection -1, 4, 5, 8, 11, I am going to print both the element itself and its piecewise value, E. I'm just going to enclose them in a list to print out the two elements together. So I'm going to close the curly brackets, and we'll see Vim has helpfully highlighted my brackets here. And I am missing this sort of regular bracket, regular parenthesis, so I'm going to close that, highlights both of them. I'm going to press escape to exit insert mode, and I'm going to do colon and X to save and exit the file. Now I can run that file again. I can either type out Python 3 space pw.py again, or I can press up arrow a few times to get it back, and I can run it, and I can see the results of my Python script. And I can helpfully do this more than once, which is, I think, really nice. So I think I did this correctly because my slides and my terminal are showing the same value. Is everyone okay on that? You all make these kind of vaguely quixotic faces, but don't actually ask me anything. I don't know what to think about that.
Okay, I just messed up the, you know how you said for, what was it? I just messed up the coding, so it's not.
Yeah, there's a lot of punctuation here. Yeah.
When you add to your Vim, how do you save it before exiting? Does Command E work, or does it not save?
Command X saves and
Command
exits.
X, yes.
Or is it? Or what is it? Escape colon X.
Okay.
Oh, so it's for E in, and then the brackets, and then at the end you have to put a colon, right?
Yes. And the code is right here. You can copy paste it. So actually, let me demonstrate copy paste as well, because that's interesting. I'm going to show you a Vim command. You don't have to know this one yet. I'm going to delete a line. When I type D twice, it deletes the current line. So I can delete lines quickly.
Can you press what? You want
That's 2 Ds.
okay.
I'll demonstrate. Here is some text. I leave insert mode because I'm going into command mode. Otherwise, D would show up as 2 Ds. I press escape. I'm going to press D twice in relatively rapid succession, and mostly you just can't type anything in between. D, D, deletes the line. Create the new line. I'm going to copy this, so I'm going to click the little button to get it copied. I'm going to click inside my Vim window and I'm going to do, I make sure I'm in insert mode first. It only works if I'm in insert mode. I'm going to do Control-Shift-V, and that will paste it in. Escape, :X, enter. Python 3, pw.py. Same thing. Separately, Python 3, import pw. It will do the same thing. It will run the file the same way. And then I think the last thing that I can do is kind of interesting, is from pw, import piecewise. I can also Control-Shift-V the code here, and I can run it in the Python interpreter rather than running it at the terminal. All of the code runs the same way. I'm now going to exit Python and go back to the terminal. I'll also clear this. Okay. So here's my end-to-end example. I edited pw.py so that it included print statements, then I ran it so it included print statements, and I saw the result. This is really cool, by the way. I don't know if you, maybe I haven't stressed how awesome this is, right? It might not feel awesome to you, and that's the feeling of not being correct about something, right? Because it's objectively awesome. So, okay. I'm also going to introduce now input. Does anyone want to ask me any questions before we go in a bit of a different direction? Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to clarify. So,
Yeah.
the difference between import Python, I mean, what's the difference between this import PW and from PW import +1?
Great question. I'm going to open Python 3 because this is all things that happen inside Python. So, if I say from pw import piecewise, Python will look inside the pw file for a function named piecewise,
Oh, so it's taking apart.
and only include that. I'm going to demonstrate it now. From pw import piecewise. This means that I will get the function named piecewise, and I can apply it to something like -7, right? Now I could have more than one functions in a file, which I will demonstrate now. I'm going to exit. I'm going to create an Neovim. I'm going to create two funcs.py. I'm going to enter insert mode. I'm going to create a function f of x, which is going to be x plus 2. And I'm going to create a function g of x, which is going to be x minus 2. I'm going to press escape, and x to save my work and exit. I'm going to open Python, and then from two funcs, I'm going to import f. F will work, g will not work, because g is not defined.
That makes sense.
But if I import two funcs, g will still not be defined, but tofuncs.g will be defined. In order to get both of them, I can say from tofuncs import g. And then I'll be able to use g directly. Okay. Other questions? Good question, thank you. You can ask questions even if you don't have a good question. And sometimes, even if it's not a good question, I'll still say good question, which doesn't mean any of the questions today have not been good. Yeah?
I'm just thinking like Neovim would be good if you're like trying to like update your function, right?
Yes.
Because technically you could do all of this in Python.
You could, yeah.
But it would be annoying because you would have to like
Yep.
write it all over again.
Mm-hmm. And that's basically why Neovim exists. People got tired of typing things over and over again.
Are we going to learn input today?
We might, it's the next thing, yeah. How much time do we have? We have 19 minutes, so we're quite likely to learn input. Okay, Python 3. Someone asked about input, so we have no choice but to go on to the next. Okay. Input is a built-in function in Python of the same name. There are other built-in functions in Python, print, type. And so we're going to go ahead and use input. What does input do? Well, I'm going to type input, and I'm going to turn it into a command with the parentheses. So I'm going to say, Python, please input. And nothing will happen, and we can wait here forever. But the hint is in the name. I'm supposed to input things to this function. This is the opposite of print. So what's supposed to happen is I'm supposed to type something. I am typing. And input will return the string that was typed. This looks an awful lot like an echo right here, but we'll see it added quotes, and that's a little bit interesting because we can do things with this. I can say x equals input. I can say I am populating a variable, and I do not see the echo because the return value of input is captured in the variable x. And then I can see the variable x, which has the quotes on it, and I can print the variable x, which will remove the quotes because it's showing it as it would be printed. So, what if we want to be able to check values without either opening Python and doing an import, or opening Neovim and editing a list? We can do that using input inside our functions. So let's write a script that expects us to type in some information. Here we go. It looks like I copied this by accident. Okay. So let's go ahead and do an example. So I'm going to create something called reply.py. Nvim reply.py. It's going to create a variable named x. Oh, I'm going to enter insert mode, so I'm pressing I. X equals inputs. And then I'm going to print x.
I'm sorry, how did you get to reply.py?
The same way I've opened my other files, I typed nvim space reply.py. Okay. I typed this in, and also if you don't want to type this in, I'm going to get a clear file. I'm going to press escape. I'm going to type D 4 times, which is going to delete 2 lines. I'm going to return back into insert mode. I'm going to copy this file, and then I'm going to use Control-Shift-V to paste in the file. From there, I'm going to save and exit with escape:x. From here, I can run python3 reply.py, and it will return anything I type. It's usually called echo. There's a built-in shell command to do the same thing. We have written the Python version. So here's one way to do this. And say python3 reply.py. I wrote this text, then pressed enter. Oops, I don't like having those two. Then pressed enter. Maybe enter all caps. It looks more like the key. So there we have the example.
Every time I do it, it says there's an error, main error.
Let me take a look. Input is spelled wrong. INP.
That makes sense.
Let me show you a fun trick too. Okay, so here's something that happens often. It's pretty easy to have one letter that is off. Some things to look out for. The color of print and the color of input are different. That means Python is not recognizing that input, which is very hard to say, different than input, right, is not a function that Python expects to see. I can use my arrow navigation keys to move around. I can put sort of the cursor on top of M. And instead of doing insert and doing backspace and typing new things, there's also a special replace mode. So I can type R, which will change the cursor to an underline, and then I can change it directly to N. So I can change one letter at a time this way. And I commonly do this when I have one letter that is not quite right.
For the echo, would it be possible to get it to repeat like a dozen times with just one, by just asking it to echo?
Yes, yeah. Let me show you how I do that.
Oh.
I'm going to make a for loop. I don't really care what I'm looping over. And I'm going to introduce something that I haven't shown you yet, so this is a slightly advanced topic, which is repeated automation. I either need to put 12 things here, which I could do, but I'm just going to create a range of length 12. The range text changed color because that's a built-in thing in Python. But you can just as easily do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So I'm going to say range 12. The for statement is a special keyword, so I end that line with a colon. I press enter, and I indent the next line. Vim will automatically indent it for me. And so that next line will run 12 times. I'm going to press escape, save, and exit. I'm going to reply. This will repeat 12 additional times. It will look like there's 13 instances because I'm typing it once. How do you spell additional? Does that look right?
Yeah.
No way. Really? First try? You always say first try no matter how many times try to take. That's one of the things I learned. It's like, oh, first try, right? Yeah. Okay. This will repeat 12 additional times. Yeah.
Related to that, but when you Python reply.py, you're technically not in Python. You're still in the terminal, but why
Yes.
are you typing Python?
So Python is still running, it's just not taking over the terminal. So essentially what this is saying is, I would like to still have my terminal, but I'm telling my terminal, send Python this .py file, go off, figure out what it prints, and then show it in this terminal.
So does that mean that does that mean that file is imported into Python, or is it not?
It is imported into Python and run, and then Python exits. It is the same. I'm going to show you what it does extended. This is the same as Python 3, import reply. I type the thing I typed. This will repeat. And then it automatically exits when it's done.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so really it's just cutting out all of this text.
Yeah.
So like here to here is useless, and then this happens automatically. Great questions. Thank you. To see the results of some expression or computation or other work in the terminal, you must print. You cannot just return. Let me demonstrate this. I'm just going to do it once again because it's a little bit easier. I'm going to use O to switch into insert mode and create a new line at the same time. I can type return X. I'm going to press escape, :X. I'm going to type Python 3, reply.py. And that does not work because return can only work within a def keyword. So if I want to use a script, I have to use print. When I want to see things myself, I print them. When I want Python to see things, I do return. If I'm running a script to see the results of computations, I have to print it. Now I can return something to Python and then print that return value, and that's getting a little more sophisticated. But that's why I'm using print today. Okay. Are the vibes impeccable? We only have 9 minutes left. Okay. Here's something I want to show you. I am going to, well, we'll just edit pw.py. So I'm going to nvim pw.py. And I'm going to edit it to basically include the same thing I showed. I'm going to use Shift-G to go to the end of the file. I'm going to use DD to delete those 2 lines. I'm going to use O to get a new line. I'm going to take an input from the command line, so I'm going to take x equals input. I'm going to compute the piecewise value of x, so I'm going to say y equals piecewise of x, and then I'm going to print, not return, that y value. Okay? When I'm done typing that, and in fact you can just copy the entire file and restart it if you would like, I'm going to press escape, :x to save and exit, and then I'm going to run this file as python3 pw.py. Okay, and it's waiting for me to say something. So I can compute the piecewise value of something, and I think I was checking 2, so I'll go ahead and insert a 2. Should I wait for anything before I press 2?
Please.
Okay. Is everyone doing hip, knee, and ankle mobility stretches in the evenings? Yeah. Yeah, I noticed my hips were tight today. You can't mess with that stuff, right? Yeah, that keeps you from being at the top of your performance. And I am always performing, so.
Well, you said you're training for that triathlon?
Oh, I'm doing an ultra marathon is the plan. Yeah. I did the marathon and I was like, I never want to do that again. And then like 15 minutes later, I was like, I could probably do more than that. So there's something wrong with me, yeah. So anyways, there's like 2 Mondays where I'll seem really tired, and you'll know why.
No. Did you place?
No, I'm about average. Yeah. Well, actually, here's a fun story about running, if you ever get into running, right? And running's a good thing to get into when you're my age, especially distance sports. So probably most of the sports you're doing right now, like 19 to 22-year-olds are the best at them. Like the best endurance athletes are all in their like mid-30s. So I'm actually like young for a lot of the sports I'm doing now, which is nice. But I ran an 8K, which for those of you that do metric to US conversions, that's about 5 miles. I ran that like a year and a half ago. And I placed first in my age group. There was only 7 people in it. And I was like 15th percentile overall. So I was faster than 85% of people. So that was 5 miles. I trained nonstop for 18 months and ran a marathon faster than I ran the 8K at average pace, right? I went from about like a 9:30 mile to a 9:05. And I went from being 15th percentile to 50 percentile. Half of the people were faster than me. So these crazy people that run marathons, they run faster than everyone that runs 8Ks. And I even had a route cutoff time on mine, so I ran my marathon in 4 hours, and they closed the route at 5. So they were like pulling people off the marathon that were going too slow, which would have been like a 21st percentile 8K, or could have started running their 8K and like gotten pulled off the marathon before they got to the 5 mile point. So like there's something wrong with people that runs marathons. Anyways, there's also something wrong with this code, so I'm going to insert 2. And I'm going to get an error.
Oh, shoot.
And this error should not be that surprising to us, because that 2 is not actually the number 2, it is the integer 2. So I can compute piecewise of 2. But I cannot compute piecewise of the number, or the 2 that I type in. Those are different 2s. Let me show you an example. I'm going to set x equals to input. I'm going to type 2. And then I'm going to look at x and see how those quotes snuck up on me? That's not the same thing as 2. That's a different number. It's actually not a number at all.
Oh, it's just like letters.
It's just the letter 2. Right? And here's a fun fact. If I add it together, I get 22. Uh-oh. So that's bad. Not to worry, I have a plan. Here's a review of types. And we're going to use something called casting. I'm just going to turn that string into an integer, and I'm going to do so by saying, Python, this is an integer. And it's going to give me back a 2. Then I'm going to be able to add it to 7 in the expected manner. So I'm going to add one additional step to my pw.py testing script. Here we go. And this is how I've done it. Nvim pw.py shift G. I'm going to just insert here. I'm going to go before the y, press enter, and I'm going to say x equals int of x. So x is first going to be a string, and then it's going to be an integer. And then I'm going to compute the piecewise value of it. I'm going to press escape, save and exit, and then I'm going to test my script by computing the value of 2, which is 41. And I can do other values if I would like. I think we did 6 is supposed to be 9, right? So this is how to get things to work end to end. Here you have the example, and I typed it slightly differently in class, actually. I reused the variable name x. Instead of doing xyz, I did xxy. Doesn't matter what the names are.
Could we also just put the int around input?
Yes, you can. Sorry, the correct answer to that was, what do you think would happen? Can you test it? But yes, you can. And in fact, you can just put piecewise around that. And in fact, you can just print that. So yeah, this goes as far as you want to. Vim helpfully highlights my parentheses so I can figure out how many I need, right? When you write stuff like this in class, the first years usually complain. So that's why I don't have 4 friends in a row, but this is correct. And this is how I write my code. I don't often use variable names. The other faculty love that. I get lots of comments about it. I'm going to demo this and then ask you. Okay. This is going to be embarrassing if it doesn't work. 7. Okay.
Just clarifying. So because in our Nvim, in our function thing, we first said input, but usually input echoes are echoes, so that's why we put integers so that all the numbers are numbers, not
Yes.
had value.
Piecewise expects a value to be a number. Input does not create numbers. It creates strings. Yes, and integer takes strings and returns numbers. So that's how we used it. Very good job today. See you on Friday. Look, we exactly finished what we were supposed to cover. Incredible. We're so cool. Thank you so much. Good job today.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care.
Thank you.
Almost, yeah.
Jason, Zephyr, Lily, Angela, Addie, Claire. Okay.
I was worried
What happened to this room?
No clue.
I have my foundations class in here in the morning.
Oh, is this foundations arrangement?
This is what we changed last semester.
Ow. Jeez. Okay.
I don't know her name. I don't really know.
like math faculty flashcards. Like, is it this one?
I'm the only no.
No, it was exactly like this last time. Yeah. You're the only one that doesn't remember.
Okay, I don't know who that is. I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, Professor Inga Johnson, the topologist.
I know that that's the first one to talk about.
We have the dog professor. Of course. That was my homework for my algorithms class. But you're taking the prerequisite, right? Just bragging about
I couldn't use like the gestures, so like communicating I couldn't like I sit next to you. Alright. How are you? I'm like scared of this class. I'm not in Chamber this year. I survived.
That's right.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh, fire. What are not on accept, but intern.
Oh. Oh no, they're tied together. I didn't know that. I'm just trying to plug this here.
Surely. It's okay, first try. Oh, did I not turn off the stream?